This is the Sales Mojo Show. Our goal is to help you become a closing mofo. Did I just say something naughty?
Hell no. Being a closing mofo is the shortest path to success as a professional salesman. And right here at the Sales Mojo Show, brought to you by Culligan Water, better water, pure and simple, is where you're going to get to hone your skills, share your ideas, and participate in the only think tank, the only support group of its kind. Salespeople helping salespeople. Let's help each other increase our closing percentage, increase our income, and improve our lives. Selling is easy, but closing, well, let's get right down to it. Hey, this is Ira, the dinosaur salesman. Welcome to the first episode of the Sales Mojo Show. I want to start out by saying that introduction was a canned presentation. Sounded awful, had no life, no nothing. Because that's what happens when you use somebody else's words. Now, honestly, those were my words. I wrote them, and I still couldn't make them exciting. So what we want to do on this show is we want to talk about how to get across to your customer, what they hear, what you say that they hear, that they mean, that they think. It's very confusing. We're going to straighten it all out. In the meantime, quick about me, I've been selling my way into a ridiculous tax bracket for over 50 years. And now I'm here to spread all of the mistakes that I've made for all of those years so you don't have to make them. You want to know more about me, you can go on the website and you can buy my books because this show is about you. And now we're going to get started. I want to start out first by saying hello to my granddaughter, Lila. Grandpa loves you. And I want to say hello to Sasha and Jacob because I know they're sitting by the desk watching. So, the Lone Ranger had Tonto. Abbott had Costello. And I got Russell.
And I have Culligan Water.
And Culligan Water. And let's bring up, that is my major sponsor. I'll tell you that when I get up in the morning and I hear a commercial that says, hey, by the way, that boil water alert that was on yesterday, we're pretty sure we got it fixed. Go ahead and drink all you want. I'm glad that Culligan took care of me and my family in my house.
Oh, absolutely.
And I drink Culligan Water all the time. So, Russ, I'm excited to have you help me get some salespeople making some money.
Well, you know how to do it. I mean, Jesus.
Let's start off by telling you the format. It's a call-in show. We're going to have a lot of people calling in.
Oh, good.
We're not going to spend a lot of time talking to you. Honestly, the questions we're going to ask are questions that happen every single day in the field. We'd like you to call in. And Russ is going to give you the number and tell you about a gift you get for calling in and helping your fellow salespeople figure out how to close more deals and become a closing mofo.
Okay, the number to call is 888-565-1470. And tell all your friends to tune into the show because if you are concerned about making sales, if you really want to be good at what you need to do, close. And we're all salespersons, is that right? Whether you're teaching at a university, whether you're going for a job, we all have to convince the person to hire us and put us, on the table, on the paper.
All right. And you also get a Sales Mojo Show T-shirt if you call in and contribute something worthwhile.
Oh.
And I will let Dr. Russell, with his PhD, decide what's worthwhile. Now, quickly, the FCC demands a certain level of political correctness and precludes me from using certain words on the air. Unfortunately, that's half my vocabulary. But I'm going to try and use the other half and, get across to you. Starting next week, we're going to have guests on the show. We're going to have professional salespeople. We're going to have sales managers. We're going to have recruiters. We're going to have buyers. So you can come on and you can ask questions of them. You can call in and you can see if they prefer cold calls or if they prefer emails or if they like things mailed to them. And many of them are going to be seeking to hire quality salespeople. So good thing to listen in. If you're looking for a position, change position, you know people, it's a place to go. And we will also have some smoking hot chicks on the show.
Oh, yeah,
for professional sales. They're coming.
They're coming.
Because everybody wants to know how many buttons they got to open to close a deal. And we're going to figure that out.
That's important now.
And research is everything.
Right.
I read that. Now, I remember I didn't research the first business I ever opened. I thought it was a terrific spot and I opened that pulled pork stand right across the street from the mosque. I went broke in like 3 days.
I guess so.
But anyway, speaking about employers, if you are listening to this show tonight, go on the employers looking for qualified salespeople link of the website, and you can advertise on our career page, which just opened today. We've got a career page that we hope to fill very quickly, which is going to be all jobs in Florida and Atlanta where we air. And we are the sponsor for Culligan Water in both Florida and Atlanta. Better water, pure and simple. And our website is there for you to post your resume and ready to go.
Well, the website, what is it? www.closingmofo.com? Is
Closingmofo.com.
Mofo.com. What does it mean about mofo? I don't understand that.
We'll talk later.
Oh, we'll talk.
All right.
Great, great.
So, first of all, let's look at ourselves. All right. I'm a talker, and I'm not a closet talker. I mean, I talk in my sleep. In fact, when I was born, I was so shocked I didn't talk for a year. Since then, I haven't been able to shut up. Besides that, my lips are usually a couple of seconds ahead of my brain. So I've gotten in all kinds of trouble before. So we're going to talk tonight about knowing when the hell to shut up. And it's more important than your presentation. It's more important than your product knowledge. Even the smoking hot sales girl with the great rack has to shut up long enough to get the order. Okay? So what I like to do, and what I've been doing for years, I like to use a story in order to get this across. So the story and I like to use a thing I call the theater of the mind. So when I tell a story, if everybody would just close their eyes.
Not if you're driving.
Not if you're driving.
I mean, listen, tell your people to listen to 1470 AM, but don't close your eyes if you're driving.
Okay. So
Not
if
fair.
you're not driving.
And don't text.
And don't text.
Don't text your friends.
Yeah, that's true. Close your eyes if you're not driving or texting. Okay, and let's talk about knowing when to shut up. So a stripper walks in to a high school for a night class of adult men who stutter. She walked in there to try and help these guys stop stuttering, and she went up on the stage, and she said,
That's a commercial? A commercial.
I can't read that.
Well, let's see. What does it say? It says...
I got a note coming through the screen. Don,
He's
on the phone?
On the phone? So he wants to talk?
He wants to talk?
Let him talk.
Yeah,
Put
let him
on.
talk if he wants to
Hello?
talk. It's a talk show.
Phone call Don.
Don, okay.
Don. Oh,
Don.
What
Don.
language is that written in?
I don't know.
I only speak two
It's
languages.
Sanskrit.
English and bad English.
Those Sanskrit.
Okay, is he on?
Hey, Don, are you there?
I am here. How you doing, Ira?
Hello, Donald. I know that Boston accent anywhere. Welcome to the Mojo Show.
You know, I was listening and I heard politically correct, and I thought I was listening to the wrong show.
You heard not politically correct.
It won't. Soon it will shift like shifting sand.
Well, you know, you got to keep your finger on the buzzer.
They don't give me the buzzer, or I probably wouldn't have anything to talk about.
Well, I know you said you have two people with their fingers on the buzzer. So,
this is-
I mean,
this is
people
true.
definitely need to read your books, though, Ira.
This is true.
I have read all of them. Dinosaur Droppings, definitely recommend to any salesperson.
Thank you,
whether
thank
they're
you.
starting out or have been there for 20 years. Occupy This. And then if they're just looking for a good time, obviously, your other book, Sparky.
Uh-huh.
You'll love Sparky if you just want to unwind. Wonderful.
Well, Donna, you're the best $10 I ever spent. Thank you. Just for everybody else on the radio.
Hey, I want those royalty checks.
Don worked for me, over 20 years ago
Oh.
in the Boston market. He was one of my top people. In fact, I relocated him to Raleigh at first, right? And
Yes,
the first
sir.
day I
So-
met
so
him,
they're loving it.
he wanted to get rid of me. He didn't know me. I was a new boss, and everybody hates a new boss. And there's a place in Boston called Beacon Hill, which is like
Oh, yeah.
walking straight uphill, and he walked me up in a snowstorm trying to get rid of me. But I was
Now,
tougher
come on.
than
How
that.
can I get rid of you when you came out of the first day I meet him? He comes out of the subway tunnel wearing Broadway Joe's fur coat.
Yeah, it wasn't his. We just got it in the same place. Anyway, hey, Don, you know what? I thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to go back to telling my story. Love to the family, and thank you so much for calling in. Folks, we'll take calls at any time during this because I never lose my place because I'm a closing mofo. And I know what I want to say, and if you interrupt me, I just go back to it.
And all the luck, Ira. We'll
Thank
talk to
you.
soon.
Thank you, Donald.
All right.
So
bye.
a stripper walks into a high school, and there's a whole group of people there who men who stutter. And she says, I want to help you guys get over your stuttering, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give a lap dance to the first guy who can tell me where he's from without stuttering. And she goes up, and the guys line up. And the first one comes up. She says, where you from? He says, Pittsburgh. She says, I'm sorry. You got to sit down. And the second guy comes up, and she says, where you from? He says, Wisconsin. She said, no, you got to sit down. The third guy comes up. She says, where you from? He says, Miami. She says, we got a winner, and starts taking off her top. And he says, beach. Okay? So what's the moral of this story? When you got the deal closed, shut up.
Don't buy it back.
Yeah, you don't need to buy it 100 times. As much as we like to talk, we really need to learn to shut up. So we're going to talk about, we're going to bounce around about sales. Every week it's going to be about a different thing. This week it's going to be about A, knowing when to shut up, and B, not making an opening or canned presentation like the one that opened this show. I was very unhappy with that. That wasn't me. They were my words, but it was hearing somebody else
Did
say
they play that?
Yeah, they did.
They did play that.
You weren't here.
Okay, well.
You had left the room. We could talk about that later. But anyway, there's something that I was taught 50 years ago, which is still true today, and that is that practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanent. So if you practice something that is wrong or just generally sucks, you're going to be perfect at doing a sucky presentation. So it's very important that the things that you do practice are right. And the only way you find those out is by going out, making mistakes, making calls, presenting to people, finding out what works, and then fine-tuning it. And remember, everybody is different. The same thing doesn't work on everybody. An example, the optimist says the glass is half full. The pessimist says the glass is half empty. And the engineer says the glass is twice the size it needs to be. So your presentation, he's pointing at me. I'm new at this. Blake's pointing at me. Are you pointing at me, Blake? Okay. Well, we're paying him. Let him point. So the presentation has to be what they hear and understand, not what you say.
Right.
Okay, perfect example, you're selling software or anything that requires a demonstration, and you're clicking along because you've done it 1,000 times, and your customer, your prospect misses a click, and now he's lost, and you're still talking. And you're never going to get him back, okay? So everybody explains differently. I'm going to do another example. Okay?
Okay.
So everybody who's not driving or texting, close your eyes. My friend Jerome went to massage school. He came out with a degree as a masseuse, and he was the happiest guy you ever met. He got a job down on South Beach in Miami at a real high-end hotel to massage really upper crust rich women. Okay, I managed to get through that without using any of the 7 words that I should have used.
No, that was good.
Well,
I like
thank
that.
you.
I like that. You
Thank
did
you.
well.
And even though he was very highly trained and he knew exactly what to do, he lost his job on the very first day because he misunderstood. Hang on one second, Eric. He misunderstood an instruction.
What was that?
The instruction was finish off on her face.
I see.
And that became a problem. We got a caller coming in. Send him in.
That can be taken several ways.
Yes, it can.
Okay.
Send him in.
Eric? We have Eric?
Eric, are you there?
Hey, I'm here. How are you?
I'm good. Good evening. How are you, man?
I'm great, man. I just wanted to call and congratulate you on your show.
Well, thank you. And you're sitting there with your dad. A shout out to your dad. Ladies
Yep,
and
I'm
gentlemen,
with
we
Big
have
Bob
on the
Blackman.
phone one of my top salespeople ever, Big W. One of my top salespeople in upstate Florida. And welcome.
Hey, thank you. I just wanted to clarify something. Did you say you worked for Boston Market or you worked in the Boston Market?
He worked.
Oh no, I didn't work for Boston. Are you talking about the pinstripes? They actually curved because of the lighting. I didn't work in Boston Market. But I want to thank you very much for bringing that up.
I just wanted to say congratulations. It's a pleasure working for you. I've learned so much over the last year, from different sales techniques that you've taught me, and the programs that you've implemented with this company are fantastic. And if you can't, take these programs and sell, then this position, is not for you. And I just want to thank you. I've grown as a salesperson because of you and your books. I just wanted to say thank you.
Well, not only that, another well-spent $10. See, I was just passing them out. Hey, Eric, thank you. Thank you very much. And gonna cut you and go. We only have an hour. And believe it or not, 20 minutes has flown by already.
Take care.
All right. Thank you.
We're doing very, very well. So, basically, everything in life is sales.
Pretty much.
And people don't understand that.
No, and it's asking for the order. And, the two people who just called are two people that I never have to tell to ask for the order.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, they get no, then they get absolutely no, then they get hell no, and then they get thrown out. And sometimes I get calls and they say, your salespeople are too pushy. And I say, thank you, I'm going to take them to lunch.
I heard that.
Because if they're not too pushy, they're not making a living.
Yeah, there's a book that says, Go for the No. I don't know whether you've seen that book. It's Go for the No.
Did I write it?
No.
Okay, have you told them about my books?
Well, let's talk about your
Go
books.
ahead, take a minute and talk about my books.
One, I like this one here, The Dinosaur Droppings. It is for the people who are politically correct.
Yeah, they're not going to read that.
They may be turned off a little bit about this.
Yeah, well, all the words that I'm not allowed to use the radio are guaranteed in my books.
But the techniques are here. All the serious techniques of closing and sales are in this book. But to be politically correct, it is not a political. No.
But you know what? You need to ask questions to be a winner, and you need to have the angles to get into the questions. Just asking somebody a question sometimes puts them on the defensive. Are you allowed to burp on the radio? That was my first radio burp on my first show. It's not from the Culligan water.
It's good water, better water, pure and simple.
There you go.
I like that.
But
Eric is waiting on you.
What's that?
Eric is waiting on you.
Is another Eric on the phone? No.
No. He had. Okay, we passed.
Your memory is kind of moving along here. That's all right.
Let's not do that.
But in order to be a closing mofo, which is the only way you make a living in this business, you've got to ask a lot of questions. But you got to be ready to ask questions. You got to practice asking questions. Take gypsies for instance. Do you think gypsies can really look in a ball and tell you your future?
Well, I spent a lot of money with gypsies. It wasn't true?
Those are not the gypsies we're talking about. No. And gypsies shut down.
They shut that down.
Yeah. And, the thing is, they're really good at asking questions. Okay, I asked the guy one day, if I can guess how many donuts are in your bag, can I have one? He said to me, if you can guess how many donuts are in my bag, you can have both of them. Okay? So it's the question that generates the answer.
Right.
That's what you want.
Right.
All right? And you need to give them the opportunity to answer your question. That's where shutting up comes in. Okay? And now we're going to see if our audience is paying attention, because we've been talking for about 25 minutes. Okay? And here's the question. Anyone out there who believes in psychokinetics, raise my hand.
I hear that.
And there's people listening. So I knew that would work.
But
you guys are the smart ones, because I've been a salesman. I still am. Even though I run the sales force of a company, I keep a territory. I have a quota. I am responsible. I have to handle my own cancellations, my own customer problems, and that's. I think anybody that's got a boss that doesn't go out in the street, man, he might be the wrong boss. Okay, because if you're not out in the street and you're not touching the customer. I can say that. Touching the customer. Yeah.
That's almost politically correct.
Yeah, thank you.
Well,
but if you're not touching the customer, then you're just not in the fold of what's happening. So, again, pretty soon we're going to open up the phone to people, and we're going to ask them a specific question. I'm going to look for specific answers, and you're going to win a Sales Mojo T-shirt, compliments of Culligan water.
And that telephone number is 888-565-1470. That's 888-565-1470.
There we go.
And tell all of your friends to tune in to 1470 AM so that you can get a T-shirt.
And be a closing mofo.
And be,
Yeah,
Oh,
more
but
important.
what is the closing?
Well, we're going to show you. We have a certificate program that is going to be running on the show. At the end of each month, you're going to take a test online. You pass the test, and you get a certificate of achievement, and you are a closing mofo, and you get the FSC designation, which you can put on your business card, which means find them, sell them, and close them. And though my books are not a requirement for this course, it is highly recommended that you buy them.
So the dinosaur droppings is the key program.
This radio broadcast is going to be for the first 8 weeks off of the Dinosaur Droppings book, and the
Okay.
following 8 weeks off the Occupy book.
Okay, what's the
And
difference?
there are others we can bring on board after that. But I will tell you, we have very few commercials that we're running here. We are cognizant of the fact that you guys don't really want to hear about dandruff shampoos and things like that. We're only using people that support sales. For instance, the guy who does the vasectomies with no needles, the guy on the turnpike, he called me up and asked me if he wanted to advertise, and I turned him down. I'm telling you right here, folks, if there's going to become you're nuts with a bolt cutter, I'm going to stand in the way and tell him you want the needle. At least twice.
At least twice.
Okay, so there
At
aren't
least
going to be
twice.
anything like that, but I am going to give a couple of shout-outs. I'm going to tell you that Stitch by Stitch at the Wellington Mall is the best embroidery and printing company I've ever found. I'm using them for years. I use them for the show. I use them for my company.
Boca Mall?
In the Wellington Mall.
Wellington. Okay.
And I highly recommend. You need anything made. You need anything. They also shrink wrap trucks. He does all kinds of stuff. Brad, he's a very creative guy. That's Stitch by Stitch in the Wellington Mall. I also, the Lion Press, and I'm going to give you their phone number, 954-971-6193. That's 954-971-69. Oh, strike that, 6193. That's why I have him do the numbers. They're on Copens Road, about a block off Power Line. The Lion Press, they've been doing all of my printing for 7-8 years. They're a nice all-American family business. Great people. And our major sponsor is Culligan Water, better water, pure and simple. And when you turn on the tap or you turn on the shower or you go for a drink and you know that your water is safe, man, that's worth everything to me.
Absolutely. And the website is www.closingmofo.com.
And you can go on there, and they are our first company also that is looking for salespeople. So let's talk about that for a minute.
Okay.
Culligan is a growing company. They're a terrific company, and they are looking for salespeople all over the states of Florida and Georgia. They're looking in Palm Beach and Miami and Port St. Lucie and in Atlanta and all those other cities in Georgia that I got stuck in traffic last week. And they're a great company. They have benefits. They are on the career website at closingmofo.com, and you should take a look at it. If you know anybody who's seriously looking for a career position, I can personally vouch that this is a terrific company.
Well, I like this. It's better water, pure and simple.
And we're drinking it not because it was free, though that was certainly an important consideration.
Free is good. I like that number. Free. Free. I like that.
So speaking of free,
Okay.
so now let's talk about, when you're going in to sell something, you're competing with everybody. You're not only, if you sell cameras, you're not only competing with another camera company, you're also competing with the copier company, the rug salesman, the coffee company, because what you're competing for is the budget, the dollar, the money. And there's only so much of it. So if you go into a place and they say that they can't buy from you because they need a new copier, there's nothing wrong with you telling them how to do creative financing. And I've heard you can lease a copier real cheap, and then you could fit me in your budget, or you could maybe do a powerful enough presentation to knock that down a notch and bring yourself up a notch. So all salespeople are not created equal, okay? The one who does the most demonstrative, look at that. I clap my hands and Blake turns his head. I just learned something new about radio. Check that out. How you doing in there? So the one that does the most demonstrative presentation is the one that wins. For years, I have believed that if you're at somebody's desk and you're presenting, you should cover everything on his desk so that no matter where he looks, he only sees your product. So you need to have enough things, and with the company that I do the sales for, All of my guys carry so much stuff that they can cover an entire area, and they can't think of anything else. Really want to keep their attention. But, most salesmen are very confused. There's a lot of people out there that don't fight for the yes, but they show up at the right time. If somebody's thirsty, they're going to buy from the first guy with a bottle of water. They're not going to question how much it is or who it is or anything else because they're thirsty. But the important thing to get the yes, I hear a train going by. Are we on the train tracks? Oh, that's cool. They're going to hang the... All right. The important thing to get the yes is remember that most other salespeople are not professional. They're kind of cruising through life on their way to becoming a professional bagger at the grocery store. And customers really want to deal with someone who is professional. They want to deal with someone who asks questions and then waits for the answer. And I got to tell you, and everybody who knows me for a lifetime will tell you, I have a hard time waiting for the answer because I know I'm right. And it's hard to wait for people to agree with you. But eventually you got to wait, and then you'll get the deal. I think most of these salespeople, they're hung like Einstein, as smart as a horse. And that's the way I treat it. I walk in there and I just take over, and I keep asking for the order because that's the difference between a professional and a guy that drops sales and goes and does something else. And I don't know when we're supposed to run a commercial. I'm sure he'll give us the high sign.
Well, let me ask you a question before he...
Please do.
Okay. Most people will tell you, I don't want to sell anything. Overwhelmingly, 80% of the people that I've met in the past 20 years say, admit it, I don't want to sell anything. But I want to make money. I need a job. I'm homeless, but I don't want to sell anything.
How many people come up to you and say they're homeless? You got to change neighborhoods or something, man. You got me nervous.
No, I see people at the stop signs.
Absolutely. Put them through. We have Curtis calling in from Atlanta.
Curtis, you're on the air.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Hey, Curtis, how are you today?
Ira, doing well. Just wanted to call in and congratulate you on the show.
Thank you.
I've been tuned in. Yeah, doing great. Hey, wanted to let you know that if you recall, you helped us with the sales program back in 2008. You helped us build a value proposition, and I just want to let you know that whole program is still in place and generating some unbelievable results. So we wanted to thank you, and I wanted to just congratulate you on the show and tell you good luck.
Well, I want to thank you for that and ask you where the hell my residual check is. I think that's what... Hey, the gentleman on the phone right now is Culligan Water. That's Curtis. He runs the place, and hopefully he'll be coming in to be a guest host because not only is he in charge of a sales force, he's also in charge of purchasing, he's in charge of money, he's in charge of budgeting, and I think everyone would like to call in and ask him questions that they can't ask their customers. Okay, there are a million things that we as salespeople, we go in there with a lot of unknowns, and it'd be nice to have a leg up. I mean, the only one really, the sales girl with the smoking hot rack has two up on us walking in the door, right? We need to know what's going on in people's minds. So, Curtis, I invite you to come on at your leisure whenever you want, and we appreciate your company, your water, and everything you do for us.
Well, you betcha. And, of course, the aforementioned attributes you just mentioned, plus a good sense of humor, always helps coming in the door, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's true. A good sense of humor, if you don't have it, you walk out pretty depressed.
All righty. Well, thanks, buddy. Good
Thanks,
luck.
Curtis. Appreciate your call.
Bye.
Look at that, huh?
That was nice. Hey, listen, so if the dinosaur droppings book that you have here, so how can a person get that? Do they go to the website?
You can go to the Closing Mofo website, click on the library tab, and you can pick up any of my books there. You can buy them as an ebook, or you can buy them as a printed book. And this is not really supposed to be a commercial for my books, but as long as it is, we'll talk about my new Sparky series, which is about a crazy 60-year-old guy that keeps getting in trouble. Number 1 and 2 are out. Number 3 is coming out at Christmas time. So we've got Search for the Butterfly Tattoo and Dinosaurs Don't Lie are out. I highly recommend them. They're by my favorite author, me. And
who happens not to be politically correct.
And there's absolutely, like I said, some people have taken these books and laughed all the way through them, and other people have gone 2 pages and said they can't read anymore. So
what did that HR lady tell you one time you took it to her?
No, I had issues with that. I'm not sure if I can tell an Eskimo story online. I'll find out and I'll tell you next week. Yeah, I just got the eyes. Yeah, we might offend an Eskimo. So, yeah. So let's go back talking about money. You know, with the right motivation, people will go really deep in debt. And what happens is they tell you they don't have any money. They don't have any money. They don't have any money. And then they buy some crap that they didn't really want, they couldn't really afford. And a couple of weeks later, it's either out at the curb or it's at a garage sale. And they bought this with money that they said they didn't have to buy your product, which you knew and they knew they needed. So what it comes down to is that they told you didn't have any money, they spent it somewhere else, and the only loser is you. So you have to fight for the business. You have to ask for the business every time. And if they say no, you got to ask again.
They said usually, I was reading some statistics the other day, and they said the person who is the best sales person, if you will, is the person who asks more than 7 times.
I hope I never have to get to 7 times, but if you just keep asking until they throw you out. You know, if they say hell no and throw you out, then they say hell no.
It reminds me of the little kids.
Laura. Hold on. We have a young lady on the phone. We have Laura calling in.
Laura?
Are you there?
You're right here on 1470.
Hi, Laura. How are you, honey?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Are you calling to yell at your uncle or what?
No, I actually have a question, but I think you just started answering it.
Go ahead. Ask your question, please.
I have a terrible time the first time I get the answer no, and I don't even know how to restart the conversation.
Well, you know what? That's a great question, and here's what we're going to do. We have an awful lot of professionals out there that are listening in. I'm going to ask you to hang up and listen, send love to the family, and I'm going to put a shout out there. Laura says that when she gets a no, she doesn't know what to do. So let's have somebody call in and give Laura some advice on what you do when somebody says no. All right? And while we're waiting for that call to come in, we'll just yak a little bit more about money.
What money is good.
All right, Laura, thank you, honey. We're going to wait for a call to come in and answer your question. All righty?
All right. Bye, Uncle Ira.
Bye, honey. All right, don't be bashful. Call in and answer her question. She doesn't know what to do when somebody says no. And that's why all you experienced guys are out there. But what people do when they hear no is they drop their price, right? They drop their pants. And we don't want to drop our price because then we're the only losers. We're giving away our profit. The company is still going to take the amount they want, just your commission is lower. So you need to be smarter than the other guys. You need to present better than the other guys. And you need to give a value to your product so you don't have to discount it. And I'll tell you another thing. You need to be able to walk away. If you are forced to lower your price and customers talk and you're not making a profit, you have a Pyrrhic victory, you're winning but you're not getting anything out of it or you're losing everything, you need to learn to walk away. And that's the simple thing. I'm waiting for the board to light up with an answer to Laura's call. If you're out there, you can tell Laura what to do.
In the meantime, we have the website that you want to go to, www.closingmofo.com.
Closingmofo.com, and there's lots of information out there, including my book, which I know your dad has on the shelf. And we have Keith calling in. Put him through. Hey, Keith.
Keith, you're on the air.
Hello, Ira.
Hey, Keith, how are you?
I'm doing great. I would like to answer the question that was just asked about when you hear no.
Please do.
You got to skip right over it like you didn't hear it. What is that? If they say no, you skip over it, and you have to start from the beginning.
There you
start
go.
From the beginning and go all the way through completely to the end.
So what do you do with the first objection? You ignore it.
Eventually they're going to say yes.
Okay, now, there are two different schools of thought. The liberal purist salesperson who is not listening to this show says, that's horrible that you don't answer their questions. And I say, the hell with their question, move on to the next thing and see if you can pique their interest because you don't want to lose the sale there.
Exactly.
Excellent. And I'll tell you that Keith is one of the top salespeople for Crunch Fitness in New York City.
Oh.
And every month we talk, and the last couple of days of the month, and he's scraping and struggling to get to his number because his number is high. and he's maintaining a position in the top 2 in the entire company. He does not take no.
Wow.
Okay, and I congratulate him on being a terrific salesman.
And I will say, many of the things that I do today, and a lot of things that I'm listening to you say, I'm finishing your sentence as you're saying them, because these are things that I learned from you.
Well, good. I'm glad, and I hope you make a lot of money in your, going into the future.
How long have you been selling?
Since I was 22, so since 2002.
Since 2002. So he says that you're number 2 in the marketplace. That you.
No, I think it was number 2 in the country last month, weren't you?
Yeah, I was number 2 in the country.
He was number 2 in the whole country.
Okay, well,
as far as units are concerned.
Okay, how do you become number 2? Give us some 1, 2, 3s.
I mean, every day, you just gotta keep plugging away. If you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. Then I'm a very competitive person within myself. And to me, I mean, I guess I'm happy to be number 2, but to me, number 2 is just the first loser. So to me, I strive every day, every week, every month.
Well, let me ask you a question, because I honestly I know the answer, but I don't know the answer. Do you ever knock the competition?
No.
You don't.
I don't.
Bad talk the competition. You just kick their ass and make yourself better, right?
No, because when you're talking bad about competition, you're actually making yourself look bad.
There you go.
In my opinion,
Wow.
I've actually gone as far as even giving people or potential prospects contacts at my competition, because I'm not scared of my competition. The difference between me and my competition is me.
There you go.
Huh.
There you have it.
And the customer service that I give them.
And it's all that confidence.
Is that so?
I used to live in Florida, and I still have a Florida number to this day, because my old customers still call me to this day.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you are service oriented in terms of making sure your customers are happy.
Ira said earlier, everything is sales. Sales is customer service.
Customer service.
There we go.
If you take care of your customers, they're going to take care of you.
And and that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And Keith, I'm going to thank you and cut you off, because we're going to run short on time. We got a couple of people going to call in, and I have a few more important points to make.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you and good luck, and I'll catch up to you
and I wish
shortly.
you the best.
All right, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
But you know what's important is he says sell, sell, sell. Don't give up. Sell, sell, sell.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep going back to, you have to remember that people need to understand what you're saying. It's not so much that you understand it, because you say it every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to tell another little story. Everybody close your eyes.
Except if you're driving.
Except if you're driving or driving and texting.
You don't do
No, don't.
either
I
one.
get confused. Okay.
Don't do
All
either
right.
one.
So,
1470 AM is what's happening.
Yes.
But if you're driving, please.
Yes, don't.
Keep your eyes
Keep
open.
your eyes open.
Okay. Go right.
So it's not what you say, it's what they hear. I give you a real simple explanation, simple story.
Mm-hmm.
And close your eyes and picture this. A guy comes home from working at the delicatessen and says to his wife, honey, I had the weirdest day I've ever had in my whole life. All I could think about all day was going in the back room and putting my penis in the pickle slicer.
Uh-oh.
And she looked at him and said, you're out of your mind. You're a nutcase. Leave me alone. So he did. The next day he came home and he said, honey, I got fired today. She said, fired? He said, yeah. I went in the back room and I put my penis in the pickle slicer. And the pickle slicer, she got fired too. So the wife didn't understand. Okay?
So here we are.
So did they hear what you said, or did they hear what you meant? And that's really what it's all about. And I'm gonna ask Blake. You ready to cue up the beeped portion?
Well, let me do this before he does
do.
it. Listen, the book is key, because there are a lot of people out there who are car salesmen, insurance salesmen, and network marketers, and they really don't know how to close the deal. So I am saying that if you need some help, go to www.closingmofo.com and pick up this book. It's called Dinosaur Droppings. Now, let me say this now. Whether you're Democrat or Republican or whatever, independent, This is not a politically correct book, but it
For anybody.
for anybody. But it does address the issues. Believe me, it's a couple of things. Well, anyway, go right ahead. Go right ahead.
All right, so we're going to ask a question now and ask people to call in and answer it. And this is the question of the day, and this is the T-shirt question. And Laura, I hope you got your answer, and if any more come in, we'll make sure to put them on. But here's the question. You have just presented your ass off and asked for the signature.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're sitting there biting your tongue. And the prospect's looking over the contract and reading all the things he looked at before. And he turns to you and he says, I'd like to think about it. I want some time to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I always think about things before I sign them. So the question is, you can barely contain yourself. What do you say? This is the question I'm putting out to the field sales reps out there, and ask them, what do you say? Everything's going real well, and then you get this big surprise. I want to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I know what I say.
What do you say?
Think about it? What the do you want to think about? I just presented my ass off, and you want to think about it? Just sign the paper and let's all get out of here. So, Russ, give them the number. Let's get some people to call in and tell us what they say when you say they want to think about it.
Okay, the number is 888-565-1470.
All right, the phones are open.
And as I look at the book,
yes,
it says, occupy this, closing sales, and the little girl says, think about it.
That's Jalen, my good friend's daughter.
You're going to sign or what?
Yeah, and that's the question.
Yeah.
Are you going to sign or what? It's all about getting the close. If he says think about it, what are you going to do? You really can't stand there and scream and curse at him, though you would like to, and yes, I have in the past. And those are the ones you lose. So I can tell you right up here, this is when you lose. Okay? But, you know, if he wants to think about it, it's your fault because you missed something.
I see.
Okay?
I see.
You
Well,
missed something.
Suppose somebody says, well, it sounds like a good deal. Let me go pray about it. What would you say? What would you do?
Give him the prayer.
I would say, let's take 30 seconds and pray. Our Father who art in heaven, lead us to the right decision. Now, you ready to sign?
There you go. There you go.
Go
It's misdirection, and we want to get people to understand that we're there. You know, if they give you their time, if they gave you 10, 15 minutes and you did a presentation and you made it all the way through the presentation and it was an interactive presentation, you weren't just talking to them. Because if you don't ask them questions, then they're just waiting out the time for you to leave and wondering if the sales girl with the great rack is in the lobby to be next. Okay? If you waste their time, and you know how hard, almost impossible it is to get back in if you don't get the close. Okay, people who say they want to think about it, even if they give you an appointment, they're going to blow off that appointment and you're never going to get back in that door. Okay, it gets tougher and tougher and tougher every time. So you have their attention. You did your presentation. You didn't hit the right buttons. So you got to go back in and hit the right buttons. So you can go back in and say, did I miss something? Is there something you're looking for? Oh, no, I like everything. I just like to think about, okay, well, I just want to make sure I covered everything, and go right back to the beginning and start over. And make sure you do a lot more questioning and a lot more interrogatories, and you get deeper and deeper and deeper until maybe a light will go off. Maybe the guy will finally say, okay, you're not going to leave, so I'll sign. Okay? If it starts going all the way back through and becomes long-winded again, it's real simple. Say, I could stop anytime you sign this document. I'm done talking.
It reminds me, I was looking at Les Brown's, the motivational speaker, and he was telling about a young lady who had knocked on the door, and she was selling something, and she says, for about 5 minutes, and the guy says, no, I'm not interested. And she said, you didn't understand. Let me start again. He said, whatever it is, I'm buying. See you
Well,
later.
you know, the important thing is that your buyers are not stupid. Okay, they've had a million salesmen sit in front of them. They're going to have a million sit in front of them again. And they know that if they get you rattled and nervous, that you're going to fall apart. And then you're all confused and gone and discombobulated and out of place. So they think it's easy to get rid of you then. Oh, look at that. It's 9 o'clock already. Well, you know, this isn't going to work right now. Let's go. It's just like when you're presenting to a room full of people. It's real easy to find the one guy whose job it is to blow the deal. The hard part is to find the one guy whose job it is to sign the paper.
Okay.
Okay, and again, the way you get all these things is questions, questions, questions. You've got to ask intelligent questions. You got to know your product. Okay, I know when I was younger, I used to be challenged on product knowledge, and I didn't always have it. And that was a lot of the mistakes I made. And now I make sure that I cross every T and dot every I.
Wow.
And I know enough about my product to say I don't know, but I don't not know enough to leave. Okay, I don't know. You have Google. Let's look it up and get them involved and get them interactive and get everybody to the point where they're going to say yes. Because what it's all about, to be a closing mofo, is you got to ask questions. And what we're going to do, we've got about 9 minutes left here. What we're going to do is we're going to delve into next week other elements. We're going to have people on here to talk to. We're going to have recruiters. We're going to go further and further, but we're always going to be closing. Every show is going to be about closing.
It's called ABC, Always Be Closed.
Always be closing. And FSC, find them, sell them, close them.
Okay, I got
So
you.
if you're just going to work every day and showing your product and you're not asking for the deal, then you're not making any money.
They say that 80% of people who do sell cars don't even ask for the sale.
No, and you know, it's true. They don't know enough to ask because everything's the same. I think he's writing down a name. He's
Okay,
holding
well, the
it against
website
glass.
is, folks, go to www.closingmofo.com. And I'm suggesting you get this book, Dinosaur Droppings.
And we got Ken
Yeah.
calling in.
Oh, Ken? Ken, you're on the air. WNN 1470 AM. You're on the air.
My brother?
Hey, Ken, how are you?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
I wanted to tell you, I listened to the show. You're doing a great job. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you,
And
thank you, thank
incidentally,
you.
You tell the prospect, yes, the prospect, what did I miss that I can answer to give you a decision now?
That's a good question.
There
I
you
like
go.
that. I
Be
like
direct.
that.
And why is he direct? Because he's one of the best attorneys in New York State.
Oh, is that
which is
right?
the reason I can wear stripes without a number.
Wow. So he's good at what he does.
He is the reason.
Wow.
This is correct. And you're right. What do I need to do to get a deal right now?
Exactly.
Yeah, put him on a spot.
So as an attorney, you have to close too, huh?
Well,
Oh,
he
I
was a
have to
great
close
car
more than
salesman
you think.
before he was.
I'm sorry?
He was a
What-
great
what-
car
what-
salesman when he was in law school.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many units did you move a month?
Sometimes 2, sometimes 20.
I got you.
Sometimes I was better salesman than other times.
I heard that. I heard that. Yeah, I've been on the lot. I've stood there many days waiting for an up. So I
Yeah.
so I understand that.
See, and so here's the question to both of you. You stand there waiting for an up. Why would you let him walk away without closing him and taking his
That's
money?
true. That's true. Because there are no B-backs.
No,
No.
they don't come back.
That's right.
That-
You got one shot.
But they used to have a B-back bus, but it stopped running.
Well, thank you, Kenny.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. I appreciate you calling in.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All
All right.
Bye.
So, this, again, the
How does
inaugural-
one get this T-shirt now?
the people who called in, we've been taking their addresses, and we will be mailing. When you call in with a question or an answer to a question, you will get a
Let me see the T-shirt.
I will show you the T-shirt because you didn't get one.
I don't have one.
No, you don't have one
But-
yet.
but-
Nobody's got one yet. We'll wait
But
for 'em
because I didn't answer
to
the
come in.
question.
It's going to have Culligan
what's-
on the back.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, sponsored by Culligan, and it says, "Hey, Culligan man" on the back, or this is a reasonable facsimile
Culligan,
thereof.
better water, pure and simple.
That's right.
Purified drinking water.
And they'll come in, and by the way, Culligan will come in and set up your house, your office, any place that you have water coming in.
Okay.
They can do everything from simple filtration to reverse osmosis, but the water is clean and fresh and exactly what you want to be
Well, the
drinking.
water is terrible. You know how it is. I mean, we got all this
Well, it's
stuff.
Florida water.
And we'll do a show on that one day, I guess. Maybe you don't want to.
Talk about water?
Well,
No, it's a sales show. We don't talk about water.
Okay, fine.
We talk about selling water, which Culligan does have positions. I highly recommend you look at them.
Okay.
Florida and Georgia, they've got sales positions open, and it's all due to growth.
How
And that's
would-
the kind of company you want to work for, one that's growing,
Here's
so
the
it needs
question. then.
salespeople.
Here's the question. I'm a veteran, 'cause
Mm-hmm.
and veterans are looking. How would they get in contact with Culligan to say, "I want a position"?
You can go on their website. You can go
What's the
on
website?
you can go on our website, the Closing Mofo website.
Okay.
Click on the career board, and all of Culligan's information is there, and they are vet friendly. And in fact, we are going to push our career page as hard as we can and get as many positions out there for veterans and salespeople in general. There are a lot of, including me, there are a lot of companies out there that are looking for good quality career salespeople, and there just are no trained salespeople anymore. You're not allowed to train them because they have to be sensitive and they have to be correct and they have to be all those things that keep you making $42,500.
I hear you.
And that's what we want. We want guys that are making six figures and that are driving by in their new Cadillac and not embarrassed by it. Okay, and if I can't hire guys that want to do that, they're not people that guys and gals. I'm an old timer, so I use guys for everybody. But if you can't hire people that want to make money, then they're not salespeople. Okay, everybody who's in sales should be in it because they don't need to swing a pick in the sun or drive a bus in traffic. They go in and they're wordsmiths and they do their job. They know their product. They ask their questions. They close, and they win.
You've been in sales for a number of years.
51.
51, okay.
And you've been in sales for over 50 years.
For a
So
minute,
between us, we got 100 years sales experience.
But I started when I was 1 year old, so I'm 52. Okay, let's go to let's go to this other thing. So, but a lot of people, they text these days, they email these days. So, do they have the skills to talk about being articulate enough to do sales? Is my question.
And that's a great question because everybody walks down the street. You look in a car, and there's four people in the car, and they're all on their phones or texting at a red light. Nobody's communicating. Nobody's talking to each other. And I think that I find it's difficult to get eye contact from younger people. So if you're trying to sell to younger people, they don't look at you because you're not a battery-operated piece of equipment.
I heard that.
All right.
I heard that.
And again, the winners are going to be 3 minutes. Does that mean?
That's
not
it.
That's not the Vulcan thing. Why
No,
went fast?
that's 3 minutes. He's
All
not
right.
saying I love
so
you.
So you're
either.
going to play the book. You're going to
He's
play the
not-
book thing now for me.
No, he's not
Put in
doing.
him-
He's not Ira.
What?
He's not doing that. I love you.
No, he's not doing
No,
that.
no. He's got
Can you
3
play-
minutes left.
Can you play the Ira books? And did you play the Culligan ad? Would you run the Culligan ad?
He doesn't have all that. So
Yeah, go ahead and play it. Play the Culligan ad with my boys
Look
at
at this
Culligan.
glass.
I know.
okay.
Spots.
The problem is your water.
Hey, Culligan man.
A Culligan
Her
Whole
water.
House water conditioning system gets rid of
They talked
sediment
about
and
her
impurities,
water.
so everything is spotless. The only water that comes with the Culligan Man.
See, we got it up on the site. Looks nice.
Oh yeah, that looks good. Yeah.
You gonna roll the? Oh yeah, roll them all. We got some really nice.
Why is my skin so dry and itchy?
The problem
Oh.
is your water.
Hey,
went
Culligan man.
A Culligan Whole House water conditioning system removes sediment and impurities, leaving your skin and hair soft and residue-free. The only water that comes with the Culligan Man.
We need a new water softener.
I'm on it.
Dude,
Oh.
don't do it yourself.
Hey, Culligan man.
With a Culligan Whole House water softening system, you get better water and expert service. The only water that comes with the Culligan Man.
The books. Hey, folks, while you're on the web, check out my books, Dinosaur Sales, Advice from an Old School Salesman, Occupy This, Close That Sale, which is the only real guide to closing sales, and try my fictional character, Sparky, in The Adventures of Sparky, and also my most important creative endeavor, recovering from heart surgery, going home, which I offer at no charge to anyone who wants to download it. So if you know someone that is getting heart surgery, please let them know this book is available at no charge worldwide on my website.
They
can't see it.
Right. Well, I think we have 1 minute left. That's 60 seconds. Listen, Ira, you did a great job.
Well, thank you. This is my first foray into speaking to someone who's not going to sign a piece of paper. So if you wouldn't mind signing something, I would certainly feel better. Thank you. Thank you. I tell you, we're going to, the show will improve every week. I think this week we've pretty much laid out the groundwork. We're going to bring on people that can help you get employed, help you make money, help you close. We're going to talk about subjects that nobody else wants to talk to, like selling people different than you and how difficult it is to break the ice.
And all coming to you from Culligan Water.
And this
Better
is true.
water, pure and simple.
And this is true.
Purified drinking water. And thank you very much for listening. 1470 AM, right here in Boca Raton.
We still have a minute? Oh, look at that.
Oh, still have a minute?
We got an extra minute.
Got 1 minute. He gave us extra.
I don't think we paid for it. I got something for
you
nothing.
Must have
I like
given
this
him
better. I gave him
some
a bottle of water.
Oh,
Sure.
no wonder
Of course
he's
I
stretching
did.
it a whole minute.
All right, the other thing, if you go on the website and click the Contact Us button and tell us what you want to talk about.
Okay.
Tell us about subjects that you want to talk about, sales things you want to talk about. And if you made a great sale, made your number, blew the number out of the box, won President's Club, we want you to call us next week, Wednesdays, 7 to 8 p.m. We're looking forward to hearing from everybody and looking forward to helping you become
and your website is www.closingmofo.com.
Closingmofo.com.
Okay, thank you very much for listening. Remember, call in next week, 888-565-1470. Thank you.
Talk 1470, WWNN Pompano Beach, Boca Raton, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
AM 1470, WNN, with more of what you need to know. Here are the latest from Invite.